Oh hey, didn't see you there. I'm Mary on the Wall, and it's time to rein in the new years. And you know what that means? The odd-numbered year community is in a recession! But the Dumbass Novelty Glasses factory is booming. I didn't have any Dumbass Novelty Glasses myself, so I decided to do a Dumbass Novelty Hat. I don't think this is gonna work out. So what better time to join former Novelty Hat Owners Anonymous and talk about my favorite music of 2025 than in 2025! So here's how this is going to work. I'm going to be talking about EPs, singles, and albums. As for EPs, there's really only two that I want to talk about in depth, so I'm going to be showing some honorable mentions somewhere on screen. I don't really know where, but you better be looking because they're going to go away in 3, 2, 1, they're gone. You better have been looking because they're not coming back. As for singles and albums, I have a top 30 list for both, but that's a lot of music to cover, and I don't have all Millennium. So for singles, we're going to be just glossing over numbers 30 through 11 and talking about the top 10 in depth. And for album, we're going to be glossing over the top 30 through 16 and talking about the top 15 in depth. Cool? Cool. Let's talk about EPs.
I'm having a fun.
Ethel Cain's Perverts is the kind of EP that makes me wish I allowed EPs on my album list because this would easily crack the top 10. It's the most chilling, ominous, demented drone release not just this year, but this decade. It's slow and repetitive and monotonous, and yet it demands your full attention throughout the entire runtime. And re-listening to it a bunch of times during the Halloween season definitely helped me grow more appreciation for it. Stratford Rise's self-titled EP is the kind of EP that makes me wish I allowed myself to put EPs on the album list because this would be second place. It takes not even 5 seconds for Stratford Rise to knock my ass into the stratosphere. This project fills such a specific noise rock and math rock hole in my heart that I didn't even know was there. There are sounds on this album that I didn't even think were humanly possible by people with instruments. It's a rough, jagged, distorted cavalcade of an EP, and it's made this band's eventual debut album one of my most highly anticipated releases going into 2026. Going from number 30 to 11. At number 30, Neil Cicierega has blessed us with a new track, Porcelain. At number 29, Quedeca released Monday. And at number 28, Violet Pony gave us My Love is a Quickscope. At number 27, it is Squid with Building 650. Number 26 is Joey Valance and Bray with Live Right. At number 25, it is my favorite Vocaloid song of the year, Utsu P's Gorgon. And at number 24, Machine Plus gave us a short and sweet acoustic track, Insect. Number 23, it's Perfume Genius with It's a Mirror. Number 22, it's Ray Vaughn with his Joey Badass diss track, Ho Era. And at number 21, it is Underscores with Do It. Number 20, it's Aisha Erotica with Star 69. At number 19, it is Yule with Doo Doo. Not doo doo like doo doo like the sound like doo 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 doo, like if you're humming along to music. Why am I going so in depth on this? Number 18 goes to Danny Brown with Stardust. Number 17 goes to Jid with Work. And number 16, surprisingly, goes to 21 Pilots with The Contract. By far my favorite thing they have put out in years. Number 15 goes to Clipping with Change the Channel. And number 14 is McKinley Dixon with Recitative. I know I'm butchering that. At number 13, it's Causeway by The Next by a landslide, the longest song on this list. Number 12 goes to King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard with Dead Stick. And number 11, it's Clips with Ace Trumpets.
Hey, why don't you try out that sword I gave you?
Credit Card Knife represents everything great about the beats on Food House's latest album. From the Adventure Time sample to the low-pass filter synth sound to the knife sound percussion, the creativity of Guppy as a producer is front and center on this one. As for Fraxium, the opening verse contains an underscores referencing cop-out line. Never change, Frax.
Saoirse, it's perfect. Saoirse like an Arsha.
Maruja's Saoirse is kind of an odd pick for a single in my eyes because what makes this song so damn special is its placement structurally on the band's most recent album. After two blistering, cold, and stern tracks, Saoirse is gentle and sweet. The saxophone takes center stage here, and whether it's a soft backdrop or glistening crescendo, it's always a beautiful sonic element. Lyrically, what can I really say here? Out of all of the messages on this band's debut album, none have hit quite as hard as the simple, passionate delivery of "It's our differences that make us beautiful." A graceful, uplifting, post-rock ballad. Of all the singles Nina Girachi has released this year, All I Am might be a weird pick for some. It's nearly purely instrumental and lacks the World Wide Web worship of just about everything else on her album. But I'm a simple woman, I love me some simple EDM bangers. It's well produced, catchy, easy to move around to, structurally magnificent, and much like the rest of Nina Girachi's debut, it's authentic and genuine. There's nothing in this song you haven't heard before, but the way it's executed here is completely flawless. One of the best EDM songs I've ever heard, quite frankly. One day I'm going to listen to this in a room full of sweaty people jumping around, and it's gonna be the best experience ever.
I always play as Gunfoot.
Hell yeah! You know I had to have Stratford rise in the singles list with Gun Show. Their EP was so good, I just had to reiterate it here. It is that good! In case you're curious, yes, this is the song I played a bit of a snippet of while I was talking about the EP. The way this song starts just completely tears the brains out of your skull, and the rest of the song is spent playing around with your remaining brain chunks. There are guitar tones on this song that scientists have been trying in vain to invent since the invention of the electric guitar by Joe Electric Guitar. This song is just so excellent. Please listen to this EP. It's only like 4 songs, it's 16 minutes, it's so worth your time. Please just listen to this EP. Among the biggest surprises this year was the collaborative LP between Shatpile and Hayden Padego, and admittedly, I think the idea peaked with its first single, Radioactive Dreams. Padego brings his beautiful flavor of ambient Americana into the fray of Chatpile's anxious songwriting for a result that is more beautiful than anything I would expect to ever release with Chatpile's name on it to sound. That one extreme droning distortion towards the middle is one of the best individual sounds I've heard this year. It's nuts how the structure, elements, and feel of a Chatpile song are still entirely present while being in an entirely different genre and tone. It makes me want more weird collaborations among my favorite artists, like when is Autechre gonna collab with 3-6 Mafia? When is Grouper gonna collab with Lamphao? Actually, that would go pretty hard. That would go hard.
I am a man.
I am but a lowly new gen when it comes to the world of Viagra Boys, and can pretty confidently say that Man Made of Meat is single-handedly responsible for getting me into the band. Back when this song came out, I listened to it just to see what all the hubbub was about, and it was so good, I went back and re-listened to Viagra Boys' entire discography. So thank you, Man Made of Meat, for introducing me to one of my favorite punk bands today. But even besides that, this has one of the best hooks of the year, and the verses are hysterical. Viagra Boys have always had a very crude and cheeky way of making fun of the societal ills they want to critique, but they really went all out with this one. Like, damn. We really are like the Wall-E chair people now, huh? I mean, thank God Viagra Boys are able to take these topics and turn them into very danceable, laughable dance punk songs, because if they didn't, I'd be too depressed to film this video.
Yesterday, some guy asked me to flash him. So I took out my camera, turned on the flash, and I took his picture.
I was so ready to put JR around the 6 to 8 spot on this list, but then, out of nowhere, after Jane Remover had already dropped her album, she released my favorite song on the album as a single, Dream Flasher. She did that just for me. The beat on this song is impossible. It cannot be done, and yet somehow it has, and the fact that I can listen to it is nothing short of a miracle. Jane is able to take very simple tracks and mold them into this amalgamation of an overstimulating nightmare hellscape. It takes very simple structural ideas and turns them into what feels like the most important song you've ever heard. Not only that, but every line in this song is a hook. Like, I can't even tell what part of the song is supposed to be the chorus because every single word, every letter, every syllable, every moment in this song is such a catchy hook. And that drop. If you've heard this song, you know exactly the drop I'm talking about. That drop is to die for!
What about taxes?
We're from the IRS.
I could have picked quite a few Geese singles to be on this list, whether that be Trinidad with its now infamous alarming hook, or 100 Horses, this hypnotic jam band earworm banger, but I ended up going with Taxes, and that is for one reason in particular. That damn guitar riff. The moment this song blows up midway through and that guitar riff starts repeating after itself, Taxes goes from another really great Geese song to something really special. It's the kind of simple, repetitive musical motif most artists would dream of writing. It does more to me emotionally than most lyrics and verses this year have. It's a riff that seems to acknowledge the absolute worst in the world and yet does so much to reassure you that you will be okay. It's going to be okay. It may seem silly to spend so much time analyzing a simple two-measure guitar riff, but it really is just that powerful. And the rest of the song's pretty good too. Like, the rest of the song, good stuff.
That's it! Cowboys is in grand finals! Arizona has done it! The Ice Climbers have been freed!
Model Actress have always been very much a gay band, but to this day, no other song they've released has quite captured the fear, the anxiety, the paranoia that comes with being gay quite like Cinderella. Cole Hayden's story here of opening up to someone slowly and surely is made all the more interesting by the fact that it's not really specified whether or not the person he's talking to in this song is someone he's known for years or someone he's just met. No matter how close that connection seems to be, there's always that small chance, that possibility that they're just, and I quote, entertained by your time sitting here with me. Through this storytelling device of drunkenly opening up to someone, Hayden is able to illustrate so many personal anxieties in immense detail. The hook captures the freeing yet discomforting feeling of letting your guard down to someone so elegantly. And the song's namesake story that Hayden tells in the second verse more than deserves to accompany the most intense moment instrumentally in this track. It only adds to the towering impact the anxiousness built up as a child would bring to Hayden's approach to connection and interaction today. Behind him is the usual pulsating drums and throbbing rhythmic guitar you would expect from Model Actress, and I think it works perfectly here to elevate this narrative and turns this pretty depressing song into one that is impossible not to bang your head to. While I don't think the band's newest album, Pirouette, quite lives up to their debut in its entirety, Cinderella is absolutely the band's magnum opus at this point. Easiest number one ever. By Storm had an incredible year with 3 perfect singles that have made me itch for their debut album more than pretty much any album ever. Like, seriously, the amount of hype I have for By Storm's debut album next year, it's kind of unhealthy, but Double Trio 2 is so individually excellent. It's a truly maximalist song that I can really only compare to those few greatest of all time. The production is a spiritual, genuinely otherworldly experience and a testament to the ability and creativity of Parker Corey as a producer. The pianos, drums, vocal samples, and especially those saxophones are arranged in a dizzying, kaleidoscopic manner, and Richie does the impossible job of rapping over such a beat so seamlessly. No other song this year has felt as uplifting, immense, important, powerful as Double Trio 2. It touches on this instrumental ascension of the soul in a way no other song I've heard this decade has ever dared to grace. It's a song that not only perfects the genre and scene it's emerged from, but stands out as effortlessly unique among its contemporaries. It's genuinely difficult for me to word how euphoric it is to listen to Double Trio 2. It's not just my favorite song this year, but it's one of my favorite songs of all time, and a true, genuine masterpiece in every regard. Ah shit, I still have to talk about albums. Going from numbers 30 to 29, at number 30 it is King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard with Phantom Island. Number 29 goes to Joey Valance and Bray's latest album, Hyper Youth, and number 28 goes to Brewitt with The Age of Ephemerality. Number 27 is the collaborative LP between Chat Pile and Hayden Padego, In the Earth Again. Number 26 goes to Miffle with their debut Goodbye World. Number 25 is the latest Violet Pony album, Love in Pony Step. And number 24 is the newest from Ichiko Ayoba, Luminescent Creatures. Number 23 goes to Skrillex with Fuck You Skrillex, You Think You're Andy Warhol But You're Not, which has the best album title of the year. And number 22 goes to Leak Room with The Death of an Artist, which has the best album cover of the year. At number 21, it is Hesse Cassel with La Brea. Number 20 goes to Model Actress with Pirouette. And number 19, it is Yule with Evangelic Girl is a Gun. At number 18, I have Agriculture, The Spiritual Sound. A little bit of flexing here, but I have a cassette tape personally signed by 3 of the 4 band members. I caught everyone except for Dan. At number 17, I have Pre-Cum by Aisha Erotica, and at number 16, it is The Next Disquiet.
Go, go.
Back in 2023, the breakup of Sprain was devastating for me because of just how much the Lammas effigy meant to me. However, nowadays, in hindsight, it kind of feels like it was for the best. Not only was the ever-growing toxic dynamic of the band finally split up, but we also got kind of a two Christmases situation here. Sheerlin got to continue the path of Sprain, where April Gerloff got to be the front person in a new band, Guck, with their debut album, Gucked Up. And in this band, you get to hear all sorts of new, entirely gucked up sounds. This might just be the most abrasive musical experience you'll have this year, with the extremities of the noise and industrial punk sound. I don't think there's a single guitar without a tinge of feedback here, and Sam Roderick's noisy synth work is incredible. On top of it all, Gerloff's voice here is the epitome, the peak evolution of sass vocals, which means probably only 1% of people can feasibly stomach it. Boy howdy am I glad I'm one of those people. The personality and inflections of her voice are delightful as a central focus for the most extreme album I have heard this year. If you liked the new Melt Banana album from last year, give this one a try. You'll probably like this too.
Don't tap the glass. Don't tap the glass.
And the award for the most delightful surprise of 2025 goes to the new Tyler the Creator album, Don't Tap the Glass. This album released not even a full calendar year after Chromacopia. Tyler might be the first popular artist to be going through 2 simultaneous album eras, which is so tough. The whiplash of vibes between these 2 albums only proves the versatility he has as an artist. Now, do I prefer Don't Tap the Glass to Chromacopia? I'm not 100% sure. They're very different albums. It's kind of hard to compare. Now, did I listen to Don't Tap the Glass more than Chromacopia? Hell yeah, I did! Throughout the entire summer after its release, this album did not exit my constant rotation. As long as the weather was warm, a week didn't go by where I wasn't bumping Don't Tap the Glass. It's so easy to move around, to jump, to dance to this quick burst of pure, fun, happy energy. The production is so light and summery, the hooks are some of the best he's ever written, the album structure is just about flawless. I don't care what people say, I adore the interlude Mamanem. My only issue is that I wish it were longer. This is a pretty damn short album. However, considering this was made very quickly and was made while on the road, I can't blame him for that. Tyler's work ethic is already unreasonable. What makes Clips' comeback album, Let God Sort 'Em Out, so fantastic is pretty obvious upon hearing it, which makes my job as a critic very easy. It's Pusha T and Malice trading excellent bars and verses over the ever-marvelous Pharrell on production with features from some of the world's greatest rappers today. If you're making a list on the best verses, the best beats, the best features on a hip-hop album this year, at least 3 to 5 of each come from this album. It is banger after banger after banger. Even if I do kind of think it ends on its weakest note by the grace of God, which is funny because the album begins with the beautiful, masterful note of The Birds Don't Sing. One of the best written and performed songs about loss this decade. A legitimately tear-jerking moment to begin what is otherwise one of the most consistently banging albums this year. I'll put it bluntly, if you enjoy hip-hop in any capacity, you like this album. And if you don't enjoy hip-hop in any capacity, you should probably fix that. Everybody deserves to enjoy this album.
My name is...
Machine Plus's latest album, Not Amelia Harrington Volume 1, is the most underappreciated album of 2025, which follows up the most underappreciated album of 2022, Variations On. This is an album I've waited for what feels like eons. From consistent smaller releases in 2023, like singles and a short EP, with a new album in the works, to the cancellation of that album in 2024, and the strange feeling that there may never be another Machine Plus album again, to 2025, where a bunch of sparse singles released under different names. The output of Machine Plus following Variations On has been an emotional roller coaster, to say the least. And while Harrington Volume 1 is more of a compilation of various singles and unreleased doodads in recent years, it's surprisingly coherent and organized to make it a worthy follow-up. In here you'll find ballads with bit rates as low as they can conceivably go, mixed with beautiful acoustic tracks, expansive ambient pieces, dissonant post-rock masterpieces. It'd be easier to list the amount of sounds that aren't on display in this album. It's a great, comprehensive collection of everything Thalia June has been working on in the past few years, and hopefully a sign of more to come.
To their flower power, it's no match for my glower power. Ooh.
Say, have you ever heard a song that sounds like... Maruja's EPs have gotten quite a lot of praise over the past few years, but for me, their debut album, Pain to Power, is what has really sold me on the band. This is a very angry, spiteful, political album, yes, but Maruja seeks to uplift you just as much as they seek to glower down upon the powers that be. The lyrical ideas are more philosophical than the blunt observations of capitalistic cruelties you get from a band like Chatpile. Maruja is more interested in observations of the human nature that get us there. How do men become evil? Can love really save us? How does an impressive culture limit our potential as people? All leading to choruses consisting of just one tangible phrase. They look down on us. It's our differences that make us beautiful. Are we all just born to die? I'll see you in the trenches. But the ideas here are conveyed equally in the compositions and emotional performances. It's a marvelous display of patient yet thunderous jazz rock that puts just about every crescendoing post-rock band today to shame. Marussia is so fantastic at highlighting and accenting their tones and how they perform. The disillusionment and disappointment in so many tracks is very apparent, as is the hope and the beauty in many others. It's the kind of album that just really needs to exist right here, right now. If this is just Marussia's debut album, imagine where they can be in a few years.
It smells like dust.
There may be no other album on this list that wears its influences on its sleeves as much as Danny Brown's latest, Stardust. Quite literally, in fact, this album compiles a wealth of young producers and guest features that Danny has been openly admiring for years. It is the tangible result of his immense support and admiration for the new pop and electronic sounds of the modern generation. My biggest fear with this feature list would be this album steering focus away from Danny Brown himself, but no, this is through and through a Danny Brown experience, and maybe the most important statement he's made since 2016's Atrocity exhibition. On Stardust, he's at his most healthy and self-empowering. The Danny Brown that wrote Ain't It Funny is gone, and you can see him celebrating this over the sounds of hyperpop, EDM, and bubblegum bass. A song like What You See represents pretty much everything great about this album. A guilt-filled reflection on how he's treated women in the past and how the love of one person aided him in his recovery and growth as a person. All this atop a fantastic beat led by Quedeca. This album is equally his best and most enjoyable solo album in damn near a decade. It's really just so gratifying to hear a happy Danny Brown, especially one that is willing to continue to find new and bizarre ways to blow your mind. Just ignore that Synthony feature.
Take your revenge!
Jane Remover has cracked the code to my heart. Just make bangers. It's really that simple. Revenge Seekers has the sauce. It has so much sauce, it can barely fit it all into a 50-minute package. It's funny that I've had kind of similar feelings about both Jane and rage music as a genre before this album came out. That being admiration and respect, but not exactly personal enjoyment. But when combined, you get something really special. As a front person, Jane has more personality here than she ever did before. Moments like Experimental Skin's noisy intro, her first verse in Psycho Boost, her third verse in Dancing with Your Eyes Closed, the bridge on Professional Vengeance, all examples of Jane being the star of the show, the life of the never-ending party. But with all due respect for Jane as a vocalist, I'm here for those beats. The amount of threshold on some of the kicks and snares here, it controls the song in a way that is hypnotic. Psycho Boost is a massive example, or Turn Up or Die, which pretty much has threshold cranked on every individual sound. I don't know how an idea like that can work, but it does. That one synth progressively filtering lower over and over again on the drop of Dancing with Your Eyes Closed is fantastic. Professional Vengeance has a beat that is frankly adorable. It's like a teeny bopper song about crushes played in a really bad, messed up club. The synth and ambient work buried in the trenches of the mix on JRJRJR are all actually pretty beautiful, but it's twisted by this messed up, dark, Heath Ledger, Joker type of trap percussion, and I dig that. I really dig that. Revenge Seekers is an album that seeks to overwhelm you, but when you look past that, you'll find one of the greatest feats in pop and hip-hop production this decade.
I love her. Computer.
2024 was the year for nostalgia pandering to trans women named Mary. And yet, Nia G. Rachi's debut album, I Love My Computer, feels like it dives far deeper into that nostalgia than any album from last year. It relishes in Frutiger Arrow more than any other popular album in history? Equal parts house, electropop, and EDM, there isn't a single moment where Nina isn't trying to find your happiness glands and squeeze those suckers dry. There's songs like iPod Touch, which is about finding a very special song that really connects with you at a young age through an iPod, or Sing Good, which talks about how GarageBand helped lead Nina towards her passion with making music, or even Info Hazard, which goes full on I've seen footage in describing how the internet has accidentally traumatized so much of us as kids through leaked disturbing imagery. All of these speak very forwardly on the period of technology and electronic music that she grew up in, but the blunt of the nostalgic aspect comes from just the vibe of the album. The sound design is glitchy, bouncy, anthemic, and distinctly digital. It replicates not just the sound of this era, but the vibe of it, the cuteness, and the romantic aspects of it. The concept of actively loving your computer is a perfect exploration of the songwriting and mindset of this era of popular electronic and pop and dance music. But while I Love My Computer is sentimental, it isn't blinded by that. This isn't a novelty record. While much of the charm of this album is thanks to the late 2000s tech worship, this album would fall flat if it didn't succeed where it really mattered. Great songwriting, great melodies, and great hooks.
I got a dick the size of a red sequoia and I fuck like a bullet train.
It takes a lot of guts to follow up an album as exhilarating as 2022's Cave World, but Viagra Boys lives up to the challenge with their latest pseudo-self-titled record. Whereas that album conceptually looked outwards with its themes of de-evolution in order to poke fun at a growing population of conspiracy theorists and science deniers, this album instead looks inward. Sebastian Murphy is poking fun at himself and his own antics, while still sneaking in the societal antics the band loves to make fun of. The Bog Body is about needless jealousy towards cute hyperfixation and silly topics. In You Need Me, Murphy talks about bringing a vibe to his fiance's parties that, and I quote, nobody likes and makes everybody sad. Medicine for Horses is a ballad that seems to be about the act of subbing, and the combo of its masochistic hyperbole and the fact that its melody is genuinely beautiful makes it a very hilarious song. I mean, the topics of this album are insane. Uno 2 is from the perspective of Murphy's dog going to the vet. And despite this shift towards the closest this band may ever come to personal songwriting, the sound of this album is still groovy as hell. Pyramid of Health is an electric guitar-driven earworm about the ridiculousness of alternative medicine. Store Policy is an intense dance track with its usage of distorted oscillating synths, sax lines, and, of all things, a flute solo. Also, this song has the best usage of the word gooning in a song ever, and yet, despite all of this, the band manages to close on River King, a legitimately touching love song which simply says how easy everything is with the one that you love. Viagra Boys, how are you this good of a band?
It was the greatest magic trick I've ever seen.
Magic Alive is such a fantastic album, it makes me feel like an idiot for brushing off McKinley Dixon's past album in 2023. I was immediately hooked on the big band jazz rap here. The brass and vocal orchestration are stunning and go incredibly hard. The main horn melody on Sugar Water, which is passed onto the chorus for the ending, is infectious. The cacophonous squeaking saxophones and quick menacing horn lines on Crooked Stick make for lack of a better word, a badass song. The horns accent the synths lacing the midway point in Recitative excellently. Once more, I'm definitely butchering that song name. Run, Run, Run Part 2 has such an uplifting instrumental performance, it's hard to hear this and not be grinning ear to ear. The organ which glides across We're Outside Rejoice makes for the perfect chill song. And then when that sax solo is brought in, oh, that's one for the books. The low bellowing of the tuba does so much heavy lifting on the powerful hook of FFOL. And I gotta call special attention to the live drums on display throughout this whole album. This might just be my pick for the best recorded and mixed drums of the year. I am obsessed with how good this kit sounds. The snare is punchy and powerful. The kick is dense and moody. The toms are dense and powerful. The hat is is just loud enough to stand out, but not loud enough to the point where it's obnoxious. And even the weirder sounds, like cowbells, hand claps, what have you, all of the live percussion on Magic Alive sounds like heaven. And I've just now realized I've spent all this time talking about the instrumentation, I haven't even gotten to discuss the rapping and lyricism on this album. Yeah, it's just about perfect. The versatility of emotions Dixon can perform in his flows is so damn impressive. Every feeling you can hope to hear in a dense concept album such as this, he showcases flawlessly. He captures the euphoric highs, the devastating lows, and everything in between. And the centerpiece of this tour de force of jazz rap is a concept which grapples mortality, childhood innocence, and remembering those lost. I can't even imagine where McKinley Dixon could go from here after a record this great.
Do you find something comical about my opinion when I'm...
Is Geese the savior of rock and roll like all these publications are saying? I don't know, and frankly I don't care. What I do care about is just how fantastic Getting Killed is! That definitely came out wrong. Anyways, this is one of those albums that has only grown on me throughout the year. When it first came out, I thought it was pretty damn solid. Then I listened again a few weeks later and found some songs I really, truly loved. Cut to a few months later and I am obsessed with this album. Hell, it's the only album on this list I own on vinyl. May as well just do that number. For one, let's get the elephant out of the room here. What an opener! A gentle, sweet little song where Cameron Winter kindly whispers to you, hey man, you might want to not enter my vehicle. From here, the album only continues to twist and turn with one great idea after the next. The bare bones percussive anthemics of husbands dawdle about in a drunken stupor. The sampled Ukrainian chorus in the title track piles onto the grooves of bass and exceptional drumming in such a hypnotic fashion. Speaking of a hypnotic fashion, 100 Horses is a winding, dizzying, kaleidoscopic jam band track, and maybe the biggest earworm of the year. It refuses to leave my head! But I'm not complaining, I love this song so much. Winter's psychedelic crooning on the more balladic tracks here only continues to prove his worth as a wholly unique vocal talent following his solo album, which I regret not immediately listening to when it came out last year. And, dear God, that closer. I may have picked Taxes as my single pick for Getting Killed, but believe me when I say that by a landslide, my favorite song on this album is Long Island City, Here I Come. Its lyrics are misanthropic and obtuse, the vocals are manic and ranting, the compositions pile atop you and wind around your ears. It's more than worthy being the longest song and closing statement on one of the most, if not the single most impactful and important indie rock album of the decade. And I'm also very comfortable saying it's my favorite closer on any album this year. Getting Killed is a dense monster of indie rock, jam band, krautrock, and God knows what else. Geese, please keep on geesing.
Because that's what Jesus wants.
Music fans, I'm disappointed in you. Jid's newest album, God Does Like Ugly, released to small hype and then was immediately tossed away. What the hell? To me, this is the best Jid album yet. His trajectory throughout his discography has been only upwards. He just keeps getting better, and that streak continues on God Does Like Ugly. The word of the day for this one is variety. This album bounces from tone to tone, idea to idea, subgenre to subgenre. It opens with a bona fide industrial hip-hop banger, which isn't something I'd ever expect from a Jid song, and then immediately goes to a gospel chorus banger, which is maybe the greatest song he's ever made, to a trap banger, just a straight trap banger with work, then a guitar-focused banger with clips featuring, okay, you can see the pattern, right? Like, it's all bangers. All of it is bangers. Listening to God Does Like Ugly makes time go faster. I really don't see where people are coming from when they say that it dips in quality in the middle. I mean, that's where you find the club banner of Skate, one of Jid's very best neo-soul outings wholeheartedly, the conscious masterpiece of VCRs with an incredible Vince Staples feature. Though, yeah, I'll admit it, I don't really care for What We On, like, at all. I definitely get why people don't care for that song. The pitch shifting is awkward, the beat is by far the weakest on the album, although I do like Jid's non-pitch shifted verse midway through the song. That's not enough to save it entirely for me. But really, that's it. Other than that, there's no skips here. The beats are varied and executed to perfection. Jid is as fantastic a rapper as ever, and this album has a lot to say about his relationship with God, how he views his faith after the passing of his brother, who and where in his life Jid can find his own personal demons and angels. Saying all this while delivering a super fun album which can be thoroughly enjoyed casually. Yeah, I'm gonna say it. He's the best rapper currently alive. Jid is this close to a 10 out of 10 album. Like, he's right there at the precipice. I know with like nearly 100% certainty he's going to make it there.
Oh, Capcom, you motherfuckers!
Last year, I said this about it. I'm telling y'all, Sheerlane LP1 will be a top 5 album for next year. Oh god, I love being right. Sheerlane's debut album, Motherfucker, I Am Both Amen and Hallelujah, might be the most polarizing album on this list. The people who like this album are obsessed with it. The people who don't like this album are equally obsessed with it. And you can place me pretty firmly on the liking side. To me, the arrival of Sheerlane represents a benchmark moment in experimental rock music. Like the great bands which preceded them, Sheerlane plunges the thrilling genre further into unrelenting intensity and darkness. This album doesn't really grow or evolve like what you would expect from typical one long song type of albums. Rather, it changes direction abruptly from one segment to the other, going from pummeling guitar worship to absurd, glitchy sound collages. These nauseating electroacoustic noise boxes fill in the gaps of a heartbreaking and alarming look at the perception of the self and body told through disturbing religious metaphors and Alex Kent's beloved animal-based symbolism. I could describe this album as being dysphoric with the limitations of the human body. Despite our vast spirit and creativity, we are stuck with this familiar, sluggish character we inhabit. The density of the philosophy of Motherfucker is impossible to really get across so briefly, and frankly, I'm still picking this album apart nearly a year later. Its lyrical contents are so obtuse and careful that I don't think I'll ever stop finding new meaning in any given line or verse. Its lyrics are so obtuse and careful that I don't think I'm ever gonna stop finding new meaning in any given verse. While I still do prefer Sprain's The Lamb is Effigy, Motherfucker feels more like an important moment and a stunning leap for experimental music as a whole, and the beginning of Sheerlane as a quintessential band of our time.
We got Live, Love, Laugh. We go in the bathroom here. We got Live, Laugh, Love.
Sine Wave's musical Transience was recommended to me by a childhood friend who just stumbled upon it around the time of its release. And yeah, I still kind of owe them for recommending me this. This one's a masterpiece. This is a mashup epic about nothing in particular. I'd like to issue a warning right now that this album is at its absolute best when you go in completely blind. It's a concept album where a part of the joy in a first listen is realizing what that concept is. If you haven't heard it, please skip to the next spot on this list. If you have heard it, or you just don't care, here goes nothing. 3, 2, 1. Musical Transience is an album about the trans experience. The slow discovery, the social transition, realizing how much your government hates you, and the constant cycles of dysphoria and acceptance, all told through the medium of a mashup album. As the album goes on, the message becomes more and more apparent, all culminating in the No Doubt and Avril Lavigne sampling ending I'm Just a Girl, could I make it any more obvious? The samples here are primarily of popular songs from around the 90s through the 2010s, songs you'd hear frequently growing up in the past 2 decades, songs that would be very nostalgic to many people. Finagling these songs to fit the story of a trans journey is one of the greatest, most creative concepts for an album this decade. The way Sine Wave is able to take all these well-known verses and lyrics and make an entirely new narrative out of them, one that is so heartfelt and personal, that is such an accomplishment. And this narrative only continues to sprout with repeat listens as you catch more and more small details. These subtle hints in the earlier tracks become obvious trans anthems, which feels very accurate to the actual experience of being trans, where you look back on your life and realize that feeling has always been there. The amount of times I've cried to musical transients this year is honestly a little sad. There is the climax of Shrimping Pool, which features samples of Kendrick's Swimming Pools, KKB's Flamingo, and Katamari Damacy music, and it's the most odd combo that brings me to my knees every time. The way Green Day's Basket Case is utilized on the track Live, Laugh, Love changes the song's meaning to be the greatest song ever written about dysphoria, which is awesome. The call and response between Coldplay's Fix You and Radiohead's Creep on I've Had It With This Name speaks to me more than either of those songs ever could on their own. And I have to single out my favorite song on this album, Facts and Lodging, which is the most this album dives into the political side of being trans. Because in 2025, you cannot be trans and live safely, simply, and peacefully. No other song has captured that particular anxiety quite like Facts and Lodging. The part towards the end, with that part of Flowbot's handlebars going back and forth with Supertramp, my god, no other part of the album and pretty much no other music that is released this year is as much of a gut punch to me as that particular moment. However, the most common tearjerker moment on this album for me comes from the very last sample on the very last song. I'm not even going to say what that sample is. I don't care if you've heard the album or not. You know what I'm talking about. What a perfect ending. Like the best feasible thing you could have ended this album on. The final touch, the cherry on top of this masterful Sunday. I'm gonna say it right now. Musical Transience is the single greatest transgender album ever made. In its message, delivery, and even its structure as an album, which I didn't even think was possible, it captures the trans experience more than any other album. No, any other piece of art I've ever experienced. It's made me laugh, it's made me cry, it spoke to me on such a specific level more than any other album in 2025. And yet, it's only number 2. If Musical Transience released in 2024, chances are it would be my album of the year. But it just had to release a few months after a 10 out of 10. Only the third 10 out of 10 I've given this decade. Another album which blends a vast array of emotions, uses references and samples to portray its messaging, and is immensely heartfelt and vulnerable. Musical Transience isn't just my second favorite album of the year, it's my second favorite album by a trans person this year. I'm not going to waste your time building up hype. Since its release in February of this year, Food House's sophomore album, Two House, has had a chokehold on me throughout 2025. This is a CD copy I bought personally off of Frax themselves at the Food House show in Brooklyn earlier this year. Very fun experience, very cool. You know what? Screw you, geese. We're going Food House now. Because they made the album of the year. Two House is the culmination of the abilities of two of the very best and most underappreciated names in the world of hyperpop, Fraxium and Guppy. The latter brings forth some of the greatest production I've heard on a pop album this decade. Every instrumental is so unique and creative. The sound design blending hyperpop with traditional electropop. Cybergrind mixed up with digicore. I'm obsessed with all the different synth sounds and bass sounds and percussive sounds. It's all so distinctly Food House, and it doesn't ever not excite me. And you all know I'm a massive stickler for album structure. And on this note, Two House is shockingly perfect. For the 54-minute, 17-track hyperpop album, there somehow isn't a single lull or dull moment. There's no line of tracks that feel repetitive, nor is there one song that slows things down. And on top of that, a consistent narrative is stitched together not just throughout the track list, but in individual songs and verses. For example, the track TD Bank evolves from paranoia and trauma to unapologetic self-confidence to finally ending with that patented Food House silliness. And the beat all throughout the song reflects that, following this growth in a linear fashion. Two House is essentially a window into the lives of Guppy and Fraxium since their debut album in 2020. An intensely transparent look into specific toxic relationships, the trauma that came with them, the growth that came after, and the growth that is either still happening or has yet to happen. Two House is vulnerable and human. It's a funny album. Not just that, it's a hilarious album. There's so many references and punchlines that I can spend the entire length of this video talking about my appreciation for. But it has to earn its very online-centric comedic moments. In order to get to the ridiculous jump in the cack, you must first endure the snowballing, small-scale anxieties in the opener hot problems, the manipulative groomer reflected on in No No, the passive-aggressive, endangering egomaniac described in detail on Computer Punk, and the bubbling trauma of past toxicities interfering with healthy relationships and causing unwelcome loathing on Special. And as the album goes on, the duo only opens up more and more. La 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 is a beautiful song about persevering despite a constant flow of hateful discourse in even the smallest communities, as well as coping with contributing to an evil pop culture. Everybody's Eyes is easily the queer anthem of the album, acting as both a devastating critique of Frax's unaccepting family, as well as a heartfelt thank you to the fans for accepting her as they are. Then there's the penultimate I Hope You Know, which is a confession that Food House wasn't really ready for their moderate success, and is generally a grounded look into how both members view their experience as a part of this band. I can really keep going with analyzing this, and I've already reviewed the album on its own before. There's 17 songs on this thing. There's a lot of ground to cover. And yes, there's stuff like Vitamin D Freestyle, which is purely zany, but isn't that part of the fun? Finding comedy in even the worst mindsets and situations? It makes sense that Frax and Guppy's most vulnerable and emotional work is equally their funniest. Two House tells a story that could only be told in this artistic medium, in this subgenre, in this period of time, by these people. Localized entirely within your kitchen. So many artists have tried in vain to capture the ills of queer young adults in the modern day. Two House, on the other hand, is made by its target demographic for its target demographic. And that means it definitely won't win over people who aren't already fans of these subgenres or don't already relate to the lyrical content, but the people who do connect with it will see it for what it is. A truly modern, coming-of-age masterpiece. Without question, my album of the year. And with that, the new year is rung in! I wonder what 2026 will have in store for us. Hold on, I'm getting a phone call.
Hello Mary, it's me, Gilbert, informing you that next year Grouper and Lemthau will be collaborating.
Fuck the odd-numbered year community! This is amazing!